Hey everyone, I was in the Austin, Texas area last weekend visiting a friend, and of course I had to pay a visit to Holocron. This is a new branch of a store that has existed in Fort Worth for quite a while. If you don't know Holocron, they are a Star Wars exclusive toy shop, so this is an entirely Star Wars themed toy shop. So cool to be able to go to something like this. You can see on the left we have a Black Series wall organized by era, so this is the red box era. Their pricing was a little bit all over the place. If you go on their website, you can actually order directly from them. I've gotten some good deals from them on some hard to find figures over the years. A few weeks ago I was looking for the Black Series Snow Speeder and I forgot to check their website, but they do have two of them in stock for just over retail at $125. Then we've got our 40th anniversary figures as well as the Galaxy line packaging here. These look so great seeing them all together. It would be awesome if every Target that you could walk into looked like this. Just how it looked back in the 90s during the Phantom Menace era and the Power of the Force era, where the whole aisle was just Star Wars themed. We've got some comic book packaging here as well as a bunch of archive figures. They didn't have the newest line of archive figures, and then a ton of Boba Fett helmets. Having a store like this with this much space, they can just have all of their stock out, so just this entire aisle of X-Wing pilot helmets and the First Order Stormtrooper helmet. And then over here we have some of the larger figures, like the old 12-inch series figures. I've never collected any of these, but maybe that might interest some of you. Over here we have some other lines. We've got the Mission Fleet, as well as some of the 3.75-inch figures, including some Galaxy Adventure stuff here. They had this statue of Yoda that I think is from the Phantom Menace era. And then they have this really awesome kind of little Star Wars figure museum here with a bunch of the original vintage figures. They had a little bit of a write-up. I don't think these are for sale as they didn't have any prices, but it might just be the type where you need to go ask at the counter because they would be quite high. Then they have this giant Black Series box that you can go take photos in. I think this was taken around to different conventions during the sequel trilogy era. I think I've seen photos of that at other like Star Wars Celebration and other conventions and Comic-Cons. They've got a whole row of Cara Dune, some of the older blue line figures, you know, some other rarer Black Series figures, some animation cells from the Ewoks TV series, and then some premium format statues. They have a whole Galaxy's Edge section with some of the exclusive droid figures you can get at the Droid Depot there. This would be great if you were a collector and missed out on some of these. They also have some of the Rogue One Elite series at the bottom. I have the C2B5 from that series because I really love that droid. Then, walking over to the vintage collection wall, a ton of new stuff as well as some older stuff. I didn't see anything super rare here, and the thing is, the store, it's not a retail store in the sense that if they have a rarer figure, it's going to be priced accordingly, so it's not like these are all, you know, $13.99 or whatever vintage figures go for now, maybe $18.99. Again, if you're interested in anything, you can go to their website, which I will have linked below, to buy directly from the store, and they will ship it to you. This section here is all of the retro carded figures. I think some of these came in the multi-pack, so they have those individually separated. I might be wrong about that. Then we've got the 3.75-inch Black Series line, which was short-lived, and for, yeah, I think this would have been so confusing if all of this stuff still existed. I remember when I was first collecting Black Series, it was so hard to tell the difference between the 3.75-inch and the 6-inch in photos on eBay and that sort of thing. They have some of the older and less collected lines here as well, like the Saga collection. And then moving over this way, we have some shelves that are separated by properties. So they have like a Bad Batch shelf there, and they have a little C-3PO showcase here. I think Anthony Daniels did a signing recently. Looping back to the front of the store, we have the Power of the Force and the Attack of the Clones era. These have the most nostalgia to me, those blue packages and this poster right here. I definitely had this when I was a kid, so this really took me back. It was cool to see all of these in person. And then we do have another wall of the Power of the Jedi. Then over here we have the Phantom Menace line, which was the very first Star Wars figures I ever collected. This is what got me into it. It's crazy how overproduced these were, that you can still find that Anakin, which was the very first figure I ever bought in my life when I was 10 years old. He's still available for just $5, so it's pretty impressive how massively produced these figures were. It's cool to see a lot of the Power of the Force packaging down here. I've referenced some of those cardboard dioramas for some of my 3D prints, and so it'd be nice to have this store nearby and be able to just pop in and grab some of those for reference. By the way, if you enjoy this type of video or other Star Wars The Black Series themed videos, please hit that subscribe button or like this video. This looks like a little seasonal area here with a lot of Christmas themed stuff. Moving back to the Black Series wall, it's going to be really hard to walk out of here without buying something. I do have all of the Galaxy line figures. but you know, you can't ever have too many Figure and Dans. I only have 2 of him, so I'm gonna get one more. This will be fun to play with, and I think the friends that I'm staying with here in Austin will get a kick out of that figure. We've got a whole wall of vehicles and Hot Wheels figures here. Back during the pandemic, I was collecting a lot of different lines. I was collecting TVC, I was collecting Hot Wheels, just whatever I was seeing in stores. I think it was really hard to pass up on things. I even thought about doing a Land Speeder collection, since my name, of course, is Land Speeder Luke. But let's just say my wallet is happy that I took a break from some of those other lines and have gone back to focusing exclusively on the Black Series. One of my favorite things I saw was the Phantom Menace computer game still in the giant cereal box. Definitely played many hours of that on my computer back in 1999. We've got a whole Grogu aisle here with a lot of the Bounty Collection figures and some Funko Pops. I'm actually surprised that they didn't have a larger selection of Star Wars Funko Pops. About 10 minutes away from Holocron is a shopping center with 3 stores that sell toys and collectibles, as well as some comics. So first, let's pop into Outlaw Moon. They have a little showcase here of a lot of vintage stuff. There wasn't too much Black Series or that sort of thing. There's also a gallery next door that had a lot of toys and collectibles, but not too much Star Wars stuff, so I actually didn't take any footage in there. But if you are in the Austin area and you want to visit these shops, be sure to stop in the Guzu gallery next door. I'm going to do a little bit more of a lingering shot on this here for those that are interested in this era of collecting. On the back wall, they had a pretty decent collection of vintage figures. I'm using the word vintage to cover pretty much everything other than the Black Series here, but up there we have some of the Black Series lightsabers and then some TVC playsets up top. Then next door is Austin Books and Comics, which is a much larger dedicated comic book shop, but they did have a pretty decent selection of figures and statues as well, so this was really fun to walk through. Not the craziest Black Series selection, but some decent stuff here, you know, some slightly newer archive figures, the George Lucas Stormtrooper, and then right behind that are some larger statues. It's pretty cool to see these in person since you really only get to see these online. It's not something that you get to really see in retail shops and that sort of thing. Usually when I see these statues in photos online or on websites, I don't really find them very appealing, but honestly seeing some of these in person, like that quarter scale R2 and C-3PO, I actually understand the appeal and they look pretty awesome. So that's all for today's video. Thank you guys all for watching. I do a lot of Black Series content on this channel. I just made a video a few weeks ago of 10 hidden features of the Black Series that has been blowing up and doing really well, so go check that one out if you haven't. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.